FC Dallas hosted Vancouver, and dominated most of the match. FC Dallas had a 2-0 lead, heading into the final 10 minutes of the match, and then fell completely apart. FC Dallas had to settle for a 2-2 draw, after a PK at the death tied the match up. For rating purposes, 6 will be used to rate an average MLS performance. Starters: Jimmy Maurer, 5.5. Jimmy did everything he could to hand Jesse back his job. Jimmy had no saves, and was responsible for this mess. That foul would earn Jimmy a yellow, and handed Vancouver a PK at the death. After allowing only 3 goals in the first 6 matches of the season, Jimmy and the FCD defense have now allowed 8 goals in the last 4 matches. Nobody will be surprised if Jesse is starting Friday against the defending champs. Matt Hedges, 6.6. Matt had a solid match, finishing with 3 interceptions, 3 clearances, 2 blocked shots, 1 aerial one, and 1 foul that led to a yellow card. With Zato Ziger missing this match, Hedges needed to have an even bigger game than this. Minor Figueroa, 6.2. Minor was actually in the midst of having a pretty solid fill-in performance for Ziegler. When this happened, Fig finished with 2 tackles, 5 clearances, and 82.5% passing. You'll get no argument from me if you feel his rating is far too generous. Reggie Cannon, 8.0. Man of the match: Reggie Cannon, despite being the youngest starter, only 19 years old, on the team, has been rock solid on defense all season long. Reggie has the occasional hiccup on defense, but is more likely to pull off defensive plays like this. The only thing that has really been missing from Reggie's game is more involvement in the attack. Well, that looks to have been resolved, as plays like this point out what a modern fullback looks like. That was Reggie's first goal for FCD, one of 2 shots on goal that he had in this game. He also had 1 key pass, beat 3 defenders on the dribble, completed his lone cross attempt, and had 84.9% passing. He wasn't too shabby on defense either, with 3 tackles, 3 clearances, and 1 blocked shot. He had a game to remember, and it's clear to see that this will likely be just one of many games to remember this season. Anton Nedeljkov, 7.3. While everyone has been praising Cannon's performance against Vancouver, Anton was quietly having an excellent game. He led the team with 4 tackles, and also had a team-high 6 clearances, with 2 interceptions, 1 aerial one, and 84.6% passing. Kellen Acosta, 6.7. Acosta only played the first half of the match, and was actually having a pretty good game at the time. There was nothing to indicate that anything was bothering him, and he even came pretty close to scoring. There have been 0 reports to indicate that Kellen suffered any sort of injury, so his removal at the half has to be seen as nothing more than a precautionary measure. Please, let it be nothing more than that. Carlos Gruezo, 6.7. Carlos is starting to look more and more like his old self, and is the player that has probably benefited most from Acosta's return. Gruezo and Kellen simply have a chemistry together that allows both of them to maximize their games. Gruezo finished with 2 tackles, 3 interceptions, 2 clearances, committed 3 fouls, had 84.6% passing, and even had a shot on goal in 2 attempts. Mauro Diaz, 6.7. Mauro had a solid, yet unspectacular day. He only really created a couple of opportunities for other players, and finished with 1 shot attempt, 1 cross completed on 3 attempts, 1 key pass, and 83.7% passing. Roland Lama, 6.8. Roland continues to be a difference maker for FCD, getting his 4th assist of the season. Roley has averaged an impressive 4 assists or 5 goals per game played this season. Lama did start to fade in the second half, and came off in the 67th minute. Still, he finished with 1 shot attempt, 3 key passes, he won 2 aerials, and had 88.8% passing. Santiago Mosquera, 7.3. Santi is starting to look more and more dangerous, as his comfort level in FCD grows. Mosquera was a handful for the Vancouver defense, and was clearly the most dangerous player on the pitch. He finished with 1 assist, 4 key passes, 1 cross completed on 3 attempts, he beat 2 defenders on the dribble, he had 2 defensive actions, and 77.1% passing. Oh yeah, Santi had 1 shot on goal in 2 attempts, and I'm sure he'd rather forget this one. Maxi Arruti, 7.4. Maxi continued his hot scoring streak for FCD, with this beauty, dagger. pic.twitter.com/LV4N5UG. Big D Soccer, at Big Soccer, May 19, 2018. Maxi has always been a streaky player, and after only scoring 1 goal in the first 5 matches of the season, Maxi has now scored 4 goals and 1 assist in the last 5 matches played. He ended with 2 shots on goal in 3 attempts, 4 key passes, 1 aerial, 1 cross attempt, and 81.8% passing. Jacori Hayes, 6.4. Jacori came on for Acosta to start the second half. Jacori was rock solid with his passing, 91.7, but was not as involved in the attack as Acosta had been. Michael Barrios, 5.9. Michael came on for Lama, who was beginning to disappear from the match, and finished the disappearing act for him. Michael was barely even involved for the remainder of the match, touching the ball only 10 times, and making only 1 pass. Michael did have 1 shot attempt, yikes. pic.twitter.com/beambyopt. Big D Soccer, at Big Soccer, May 19, 2018. Ryan Hollingshead, 6.1. Ryan came on late for Diaz, as FCD was looking to try and close out the game. Ryan didn't really have as much of a defensive impact as Pareja had hoped. Oscar Pareja, 6.2. Pareja has to take a lot of the blame for the team's collapse. While he is not directly responsible for the actions of Figueroa or Maurer, he is responsible for the tactics and substitutions that simply failed down the stretch. While the Hayes substitution was forced on Pareja, a solid substitution, bringing on Barrios and Hollingshead hurt the team more than it helped. Both players stepped on the field, and were less effective than the players they replaced, by a mile. Both players did very little to offer help where FC Dallas needed it the most, on defense.